Is your child quick to fly off the handle and go from 0 to 100 real quick? Do you want to help them learn ways to manage those intense feelings like anger, sadness, disappointment? Well, I'm Dr. Jasmine. I'm a clinical psychologist. I'm also a mom of 2 little girls. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you practical things you can do to help your child learn how to calm their minds and their bodies. I'm going to be sharing a wonderful resource for you on how to introduce as well as practice mindfulness with your little ones. And then make sure you stay until the end, because I'm going to be talking about, okay, well, how do we respond? What do we do if they're resistant to these techniques and they don't want to do it? Because we need to talk about that too. So let's discuss. This video was sponsored by Psychologist Publishing and Media. They offer an array of books for parents, educators, as well as therapists, and they're really the gold standard in the industry. If you ask me, they're a wonderful resource. So be sure to check out their website, psychologistpublishing.com, for more books. So let me back up a little bit. What is mindfulness? And most importantly, how do we explain this concept to our children, especially if they're the little ones? Well, I love the definition that Andrea Dorn offers in her book, Calm and Peaceful Mindful Me. And she says, it's when I stop and pay attention to my body and heart, and when I notice things around me just as they are right now, right? So mindfulness is about paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment. It's so important, right? To pay attention without placing judgment on our thoughts and our internal experiences. Now, there's 4 different types of mindfulness. There's, the traditional one where you allocate a certain time and place to sit down and purposely notice your internal experiences and your feelings and your thoughts, and without judgment, right? And actually research shows that time and time again, that's often the most effective in terms of seeing those lasting benefits with your mental health. But there's other ways to practice mindfulness, including in everyday moments, right? When you're taking a shower, when you're cooking, when you're walking, when you're playing with your child, right? I talk a lot about that when I talk about play and how we can be present in play. Those are opportunities for mindfulness, right? Because again, it's all about just stopping to become aware of what's going on in the present moment on purpose without judgment. You can also practice mindfulness in movement exercises like yoga and Tai Chi, and you can also practice mindfulness during spiritual practices, right, like prayer. So now let's get into why is it important to teach our child mindfulness, right? Why are we doing this anyways? Well, I started this video by saying, do you want to help your child learn ways to calm their minds and bodies down? That's the biggest benefit, right? Is that if you're struggling with knowing how to help your child manage their intense feelings, right, like anger, disappointment, sadness, well, mindfulness is a wonderful tool to teach your child on how they can start to first become aware of what's happening in their mind and their body. That's so important, right? We can't regulate our minds and our bodies until we first become aware of what's actually even going on. And so the very act of stopping to notice is a part of emotional regulation, right? And it's a part of helping them learn that skill. And then that trickles into how they do in school, how they do in their relationships, in sports, and other areas of their life, right? If they can learn to regulate their emotions, it's going to have a trickle effect into a lot of areas of their life. Okay, so let's talk about simple ways to get started, right? Because, this can feel a little overwhelming, like, oh my God, okay, I need to teach them this skill, and where do I begin? Well, if you've been following me for a while, you know that children's books are one of my favorite ways to help children learn new skills, introduce the topic in a non-threatening way, right? We're not like, okay, you need to learn to calm down, all right? Right? It's like, oh no, let's just read this book, right? Let's start this conversation. Let's keep it going. It's a wonderful way to introduce a big topic in an approachable, bite-sized way. And so that's where I'd recommend you start. There's a lot of other things you can do to help teach your child mindfulness, but if you want one concrete way to start, I would say pick up a children's book. And I want to share with you guys this gem, which is called Calm and Peaceful Mindful Me. And it's a mindfulness how-to guide for toddlers and kids, right? So even if you have a little one, right, a toddler, they can still benefit from this book. It was written by a social worker, Andrea Dorn, first of all. And I love how it's approachable. It also has prompts and questions throughout the book that are optional, but if you want to take a deeper dive as your child is getting into this, you have those opportunities, and then I'll show you the back of the book in a second. But it starts by saying, oh, hi there, what is your name, right? The child's like, oh, this is my friend, right? Really? This is my name too. I'm growing every day, and as I grow, I get to learn lots of things, right? And then there's an optional question. What fun things do you know how to do? So you're getting your child involved, getting them participating, identifying with this character, which is key. And then it goes, sometimes all that learning makes my brain and body feel very busy and very full. So one fun thing I'm learning how to do is use mindfulness to help me have a calm and peaceful body. Mindfulness, okay, here's the definition, is when I stop to pay attention to my body and my heart, and when I notice things around me just as they are right now. Okay, very simple, approachable definition, right? When I stop to notice what's happening around me, my body has more room for peaceful. So this is about helping your child learn, okay, well, why would we want to be more mindful, right? More room for peaceful thoughts and peaceful feelings. I know my body is peaceful when it is quiet, still, kind, and does good listening, okay? And then there's an optional question. Who has a calm and peaceful body where you are right now? And then you look around, right? And you can read this with a calm voice. Here's how I practice mindfulness, okay? First, I stop what I'm doing and I take a deep breath to slow my body down. I can take a deep belly breath by pretending my tummy is a big balloon. I breathe in and blow out my belly balloon. Then I let the air out of my balloon as I breathe out and relax my body. Okay, and then there's optional questions like, what color is your balloon, right? I love these optional questions because it is so important as you're teaching your child these things to get them involved, get them participating, get them talking, right? We're not talking at our child, we're talking with them, right? This is a discussion ideally that they can participate in. Now, of course, if they're resistant, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but ideally this is a conversation. Next, I take a moment to notice what is happening inside of me. I can notice what I am thinking. So important, right? Remember, we can't change what we're not aware of. And I can notice how I'm feeling. My feelings can be big or small. Sometimes I even have more than one feeling at a time, okay? And then it goes over the different feelings, which is so important to emotional regulation, is first labeling the feelings: happy, peaceful, scared, sad, or mad. Or those are all good feelings to start with. Then I take a moment to notice what is happening around me, right? So first it's tuning into your body and your feelings, and now it's, okay, what is going on around me? I can notice what I am seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. And we call that grounding exercises. These are also wonderful exercises for you too, parents. So you do this with them, right? And you're gonna be like, ooh, okay, I'm feeling calm myself, right? When I'm practicing mindfulness, I notice things in and around me in a special way, one at a time, and like they are coming and going, just like cars driving by. That's we talk a lot about that in mindfulness and meditation, right? To see your thoughts like cars just driving by, and that's a really helpful way to notice without judgment, right? Just let them pass by. I notice things just as they are in the moment, and I don't try to change them in any way. Key to mindfulness, right? We're not trying to change or control our thoughts. We're just noticing them. I can be mindful anytime, anywhere, for a short amount of time or for a long amount of time. So this is really good. Normalizing. You can do mindfulness for a couple seconds, or you can do it for longer. It's about what is helpful for you in that moment. Mindfulness can help me remember that I am connected to everyone and everything. Such a beautiful picture there. And mindfulness can help me notice amazing things around myself and the world around me. Mindfulness is like my superpower. This is really important, right? To help them, again, identify with a character. Well, you are a super girl, super boy, and you have a superpower, and that's your mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness can help me feel better when I am mad, sad, scared, or even when I'm happy. Or if I notice something in the moment that is scary or upsetting, mindfulness can help me stop and think clearly so I can know what to do next or get help. And then here's a great optional question. If you need help with something, who can you talk to? Such an important question to ask your child continuously, right? Let's practice mindfulness, okay? So now the author has introduced the topic, explained what it is, explained the benefits, explained the process. Now is the time in the book where you get to practice it with your child. And so it says, let's practice mindfulness and see if we can put it all together. First, stop and breathe. Next, take a moment to notice your thoughts and feelings. Last, take a moment to notice what's going on around you. How did it go? How do you feel, right? So important when we do mindfulness exercises to take a moment to reflect afterwards. Is there anything different? Did I notice any changes? Sometimes our brains and bodies are so busy and full that it can be so hard to slow down. That's okay. The more you practice mindfulness, the easier it will be. Such an important reminder, right? It's not always going to be so simple in the beginning, and that's okay. I will keep practicing mindfulness every day, and so can you. Growing up is so much fun. See you next time. And then it's wonderful. There's a mindfulness exercise for children as well as adults. And then I love this expanded feeling charts, right? So in the book, it's very simple. And in the back, you get a chance and an opportunity to talk about the array of feelings. And they categorize it by joy, empowerment, fear, anger, sadness, and other feelings. So like fear, you might be scared, worried, nervous, shy, or embarrassed. So such an important concept as a part of emotional regulation is to teach your child the array of feelings and help them learn how to identify them within themselves. So it is just a really great resource on how to introduce this topic, right? That can seem so big, like mindfulness, right? Like what the heck is that? To a very practical, right? Real life, okay? We could do this in everyday life, right? And then it also goes this step further to help your child learn how to practice it in very approachable ways, whether you have a little one or you have an older child. Now let's talk about, what if you're reading this or you're trying to practice mindfulness and your child is resistant, right? They don't want to do those exercises. They don't, they're pushing back on that. First, I would say roll with the resistance, as I always say, right? It's okay for them to not want to do it. And I would say honor that. That's the first thing, right? You don't want to make this a power struggle. You don't want to make this just one more task they have to do. This is something that should be fun. It should be approachable and just, something we do in our everyday life. And something that's a part of the routine. And hey, you can pick it up if you want to or not. You can just watch me do it. And that's the other important thing about, really incorporating this into your home is that your child is going to pick it up way quicker and they're going to believe in the power and really trust it if they see you doing it throughout the day, right? And so speaking out loud when you're stopping to take a moment, we're walking outside and that I smell the air. I'm stopping to be aware of what's going on around me. Oh, mommy's feeling a little anxious, but I'm going to keep moving. I'm just going to notice. It's okay to be anxious, right? This is all what mindfulness is about. And the more you can model it for them, the more they're going to trust it and be able to know, okay, how do I do this in my everyday life, right? And so you, again, do not want to force them. Start small too, especially if you have a little one or even just a child who's just never been introduced to this topic before. Start small. Start in small doses. Maybe the first time you just read the book all the way through. Maybe they don't even practice it. You're just planting that seed. You're just introducing them to this idea. Do that for a couple times and then start modeling it for them. Start inviting them to practice. Oh, you don't want to practice? That's okay. No worries. We can try again. I'll do it for now because I know that it really helps my mind and my body calm down, right? and then you just model it for them, what it looks like. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. Comment down below mindfulness, the word mindfulness in the comments, if you're excited to teach your child this new skill, or let me know if you're already incorporating this into your daily life and what has helped you. Also, let me know in the comments if there's any other skills you want to teach your child, so I can make a video about it. And huge thank you to Pessy for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check them out. I'll leave the links down below where you can check out this wonderful resource as well as their website. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.